Hello and welcome back to our studio here at BTN TV. Once again, I'm Michael Baker, Executive Editor with BTN, and I'm joined now by Chris Lewis, the founder and CEO of Travelogix. How are you doing today, Chris?
Very well, Michael.
Great. Very well, thank you.
Good.
All right. Well, let's start. Why don't you tell us a little about Travelogix and what it is and what you do?
Absolutely, no worries. So we are essentially a data management company. We work exclusively with travel management companies, and what we aggregate all of the data that they create from their mid-back office systems, their booking tools, and anywhere in their ecosystem they create data points. We collect that data, and the purpose of our platforms is to give the TMCs, account managers, and travel managers real-time, on-demand access to data.
Great. So do you work directly with travel managers as well, or is it through the TMCs?
No, we work directly with the TMCs. Mm-hmm. So right now, and for the past 10 years, we've worked directly with TMCs. We set the TMCs up as the users and the resellers of our platforms, and they resell to the end user, which is essentially the travel managers or the security managers.
Great. And can you tell us some of the TMCs that you work with?
Yeah, so in the UK, we work primarily with, we've got a lot of the UK market, very much in the SME sector, a lot of the focus travel partnership members, so we work with 22 of those, I think, out of the 50. We work with a lot of the Advantage network here in the UK, and then moving into Europe, we're working with the likes of Munkhoff, we're working with new partners in Netherlands and out there, and in the US, we've just started working with Take-Two. That's been one of our biggest, newest acquisitions that's out there at the moment.
And Take-Two's a fairly new player on the block as well, aren't they? Kind of focusing
absolutely.
on the SME segment. So.
Yeah. They're making huge waves in this market,
yes.
Certainly. I'm sure coming from the States, you've seen it as well. But yeah, we're working really closely with Rob and Chris and those guys over there, and they're creating something quite unique, I think, in terms of a high service proposition, which is quite, I think it's required. You know?
Absolutely, and especially in these modern times, it's kind of, we're looking at new models, and
100%.
it's good to see kind of disruptors coming into the market. So.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
So let's talk about the data that you gather, and kind of what are kind of the key data points that TMCs are looking for at this point to provide to their customers?
Yeah, so it's changed a lot over the last couple of years, as you can imagine. When we were formed back in 2011 and launched in 2013, we were very much focused on what people had spent, how much they'd spent, what they'd spent it on, who had spent it, and booking behaviors and trends. What we're getting right now is a lot of TMCs want to look at how their agency is performing, or look at the analytical side of their own business. How much are the agents booking? What yields and commissions are they making? Where could they improve performance? That's one key thing that we're focusing on. Another element that we're really heavily focused on at the moment is duty of care. So we've released our own duty of care module called Geo. That went live in Q1 this year, and the guys at Take-Two and the rest of a handful of our clients have taken that. So a lot around that. Duty of care element is really fundamental with data at the moment. We're also seeing huge requirements and demands for environmental solutions. So we have interfaces with Net Zero Group, who are partners on our stand today. We have interfaces with Trees for Travel, an offsetting solution, and two very popular solutions there. And then finally, what we're now seeing as well is something we kind of anticipated would happen longer ago than it's actually started to happen. It's coming around now, is the requirement to aggregate and centralize data from multiple agencies from different markets who may share a common client. And our consolidator platform is something that now handles that. So that's something that's proving to be very popular and in demand at the moment, that consolidation piece.
That's very interesting, because I've been doing this for about 16 years now, and I know for a long time the trend was, let's move to one TMC for the entire geography, follow the sun, do those sorts of strategies.
100%.
Are we kind of seeing the other way now, that we're just kind of get best of breed per market, and this is the kind of solution that's needed to facilitate that?
100%. Yeah. It's great that you can work with these big multiples, but you can never guarantee the services of what we're being told, and we are seeing TMCs partner across different markets a lot closer than we've ever seen before. So the likes of the Advantage Global Group, like Hickory in the US, they're working very closely with Advantage in the UK, and the Advantage International, what was formerly the Win Network. We're seeing a lot of partnership coming in there, and to have local knowledge, and allow agencies to own their piece of the pie and maintain that really high service whilst giving the global travel manager access to real-time globalized data, and the local travel manager having access to their local market data in their own currency. That's changing the way people are thinking about buying from these multiples now, I think. I don't think it's going to be a shift overnight, but it really is a valid option now.
Absolutely, and it's different markets have different needs, and if you have an organization in a certain geography that has certain needs, that you want a TMC that's equipped to handle those needs. So,
yeah, whether that's systems or booking behaviors or whatever it might be. But we've got clients UK, Europe, US, Singapore, Australasia. Anybody in those markets, we can consolidate that data now, which is fundamentally going to give those travel managers who want that option a real tangible solution.
All right, great. So let's jump back to the sustainability data, and you mentioned the partnership with Net Zero, and then Trees for Travel. Those are very exciting.
Yep.
Let's talk about kind of how the customers are looking to present this information. Are they looking to get kind of back-end, reports from their trips? Do they want to get it at the point of booking where they can kind of see what's happening? Or
there's a few different things that we're seeing. So the interfaces or the partnerships we have with Net Zero Group and with Trees for Travel is very much a data acquisition solution. So we will have all of the booking data, and we will know, for example, that Michael is flying from point A to point B, has a hotel and a car and whatever he might have. We can pass that data off to Trees for Travel, who can calculate the associated CO2 and how many trees need to be planted in order to offset that trip. So that data acquisition is something we have with those guys. We then have with Net Zero Group something very similar. They do the offsetting in a very different way, but again, it's about data acquisition. But what we're able to do with those two parties as well is take data back from them. So we can show, for example, if somebody has a Trees for Travel agreement, we can show how that is performing and how that agreement has benefited the planet, their policy, etc. And we also do our own kind of standard reporting with DEFRA calculations and ICAO calculations. So right now we are seeing a huge demand, not just for the reporting, but the resolution and the offsetting options, which is where Net Zero Group and Trees for Travel come in. We don't want to do that, but we're happy to provide the data in terms of provision.
You work with a lot of kind of SME-focused TMCs. So are you seeing as much interest in the sustainability data from the SME-type clients as you are from the larger corporations at this point?
We're actually seeing it more from the more of the SME market.
Really?
And I think that's just because they want a solution. They need to show that they are ahead of the game, that they have a solution, and before they're asked for it, the SMEs are on top of that. They know they need to provide something. And working with a company like Travelogix, we're quite entrepreneurial, we're quite quick to react, and they know they can rely on us for that. So very much the SME market, we're seeing them have a huge uptake with Trees for Travel at the moment. Our new Net Zero partnership, where we're just unveiling at the show this week. So, yet to see what that's going to yield. But certainly the SMEs are very much on the ball. The bigger guys, they need solutions, but I'm not saying they're slow, but the SMEs are rapid to change and to resolve.
Excellent. Let's jump back to duty of care for a moment.
Sure.
Fortunately, we're seeing kind of restrictions are starting to lift around the world. As I mentioned in my previous interview, I'm happy I don't have to test to get back home to the U.S. in a few days. But is duty of care still kind of top of mind for companies, even if it's not necessarily COVID focused, or are there other things that they're looking at to track?
Really good question. Yeah, really good question. Is it top of the list? I'd say it's the top two at the minute. I'd say sustainability is probably peaking it at the moment, but followed by demand for duty of care. And what we're able to provide, which is quite unique, is everything in one solution. So you've got all your data in there, you've got your data management, you've got your data exporting and reporting, and your duty of care in there. And the fact that we can do that all passively via the itinerary, and provide real-time security alerts and country risk information with our partners at SafeTure, we can kind of package that all up without the independent SME focused TMC having to go to one of these big enterprise-level solutions, which are costly and often GPS-based, which might be considered intrusive for the SME-style traveler. So it is something that is there. I'd say it's being pipped to the post at the moment with sustainability, but certainly it's certainly in that top two.
Well, excellent. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, Chris, but I really appreciate you sharing this insight with us. It's fascinating to hear some of these trends.
Enjoyed it.
So once again, thanks so much to Chris Lewis with Travelogix, and we're going to go back to the floor for some more supplier interviews.